Good evening and welcome back. It's a Thursday evening, quite a tiring day today. I'd been to my doc in the morning, had to get some medicine regarding my shoulder injury. Uh, so, quite a lot of time went there itself. Had to continue taking few calls from the clinic itself, then came back in the afternoon and back to back meetings and all those stuff. The point that I want to talk about today is something like what's happening over the last few days or few weeks, and a decision regarding which was taken last night in my organization. So it's to summarize, I would just call it like um, organizational orders. I think that's what probably I would call it as. So I'll break it up into two pieces. One is what's exactly happening and how I could probably relate it to a training which I had today post lunch. So first of all, there is one huge module that we are working on in our organization. We're building the entire product from ground up, and it's been going on since almost 2 years. It picked up the pace last year, and this year we are very keen and adamant on having this out in production, probably by Q3 end or Q4 of this year. And literally, people are like literally running against their deadlines, and I would not say things are going fine, but at least things are moving. That's what I would say. And this was not the case probably same time last year. A lot of confusions. Now, what I want to tell here is like it's been going on for 2 years, but still the product is not out. And there were two times when we had to literally derail our overall focus about the product. And the thing is, last year around this time or like during Q3, what really happened is instead of the full bigger product going into production, we thought like one specific product can be put in first and then we will follow it up with others. So we started working on it. Suddenly, a few organizational changes happened at higher up. It's not at the ground level, so it's at higher up. Management changes happened. The people who were there wanted their overall portfolio to be highlighted in the external, like in the market. So they wanted our the smaller module to be placed there to emphasize that we are doing it. We started doing which completely attention changed. Like we were going in this path and suddenly they told like we had to do something else. We started going this path and we actually started running because the deadline was December came, the product didn't go live, and they told January they told March, and eventually in March they told that it will go live in June, and apparently it is tomorrow. June 19th is when it is going live for the product which we got literally derailed and worked last year, and it's all because of organizational changes that happened, and the people higher up telling that we have to concentrate on what they are telling and rather than what we were actually working on. So now that in March we were almost done and it's just that it has to go live tomorrow, we started working on the bigger modules. Since like I mean all the other teams started working on it from January itself, but our attention came back to the bigger module which we were working on. But what also happened is in January, right from our CEO all the way till probably I would say our director, the complete organizational rearrangement happened. This was shocking, let me be honest. This was actually shocking, like why so many changes are happening. We thought like one or two is okay, but too many changes happened. And at one place, we were wondering there might be surprises for us. And slowly and steady, now in the end of Q2 is when things are becoming more evident because now these new execs who are coming to, who are now rather heading our business unit, they're telling that we have to start focusing on getting our product in some other direction. So we were going in this direction, they redirected here. We thought that we may eventually go like this, but we started coming back here in January. But now they're telling a totally different direction. It will not impact the overall full product, but there are specific teams, including mine, that are getting impacted because of all these things. And all these things because the execs come with their own baggage of portfolios and stuff, and they want to support it, or they want to support portfolios which are close to them, or they were working on it in past, or something like that. And this comes hierarchically, so it's not like they just wake up in the morning and tell that everyone who is reporting to them have to start concentrating here. This doesn't work. I think they know it doesn't work, but they want to make it work because they have to showcase a portfolio to the outside world. And eventually, who's actually suffering is the engineers at the base level. They are the one who are working day in and day out to make sure that the product comes to shape and it goes out to public. But so many idea changes, architectural changes, vision changes, and all those things makes them little bit like get confused, and moreover they get worried what really is happening here. So that's the type of mindset they end up with. And again, when you have been asked to discard the entire work that you have been doing since last probably I would say like 5 or 6 months, that really hurts actually. Just because the exec wants you to concentrate on something else, and or all the things that you have done till now is should be discarded. At an engineer level, it's really difficult. Now that I'm managing teams since last few months, it's it's a little bit challenging for me to even go and convince or console the people that our vision has changed because of exec orders, or the orders that has come from top. So I seriously don't understand why this is so evident, and why it always happens in IT also. And it's not the first time that it has happened. I think I told you last year also we faced it, and it's been happening year on year. Every year we we think we will do something, or just because the organizational change happened, we end up doing something else, and eventually we are not benefiting anything. Let me be honest with you, we're not benefiting anything. And they say that we didn't do it right, we didn't do it this way, we should have done it like that, we should have stuck to the old way of working. But if you really had, they would have opposed it for sure. But this is what happens, like organization changes are very difficult to digest, especially at ground level, and it's not working. And again, these are orders which gets passed, and you can't oppose them. You can't go and say like debate against why it is good or why it is not good. Though you have a handful of data points to go and actually say that this does not work, but they'll not ready to accept it. And I might be able to tell one level above me, or probably two level above me, but the moment the to go to the level where the decision can be taken that okay, fine, you stick to whatever you're doing, that's really tough. And the people in between are the ones who will be more scared rather than me to actually go and oppose it. Now, having said this, this afternoon I was having a probably I would say 3 hour training about how to bring in an impact or a change in your team members, or improve the performance of your team members. It was a training about it. For some reason, the training content was nowhere related to that. It was all about self realization, how you are performing, what makes you perform well, and what could aid you perform well, or what hinders you perform well. And probably halfway through, or I think after 2 hours, when some of my managers who were there in the training, they asked like, I think we are not going the right path. They told like, if you're able to realize it, then you will be able to reflect it back to your team. That's as bizarre as what the trainer responded. Anyway, we thought like we'll just continue the training. There's no option after 2 hours. But one point the trainer told, it's just that you should control your team. You should have a separate, I would say, like a satellite, or a cluster of thoughts and process in which you work with your team and all those stuff. And one lady opposed it immediately, and she told like it doesn't work like that. How much ever we try to shield or confine our team and try to protect them or try to boost them and all, there is always this higher up orders that comes in which will completely demoralize the entire team. It could be like the things that I told, or it could be some other stuff. She even gave an example like just I don't know if it was today or just last 2 days. There was some medical complication with one of her team member, but apparently her manager asked her to go and check with this person who is undergoing that medical complication, to check when they're back to work, just because it's a critical resource and they want certain tasks to be completed. and she has no option because she can't say no. She actually has no option because like somebody higher up is telling, and they should have ideally understood the situation and be sensitive about this whole situation, but eventually they're telling like go and ask. She can't even say no, but she can't even go and ask that person because they are in a different mindset altogether. And this is the type of environment we all live and work in. And this is not limited to where I work or where somebody else is working. It's I think I've seen it in past. It's like I've been in three organizations, and I've seen it in past in one or the other shape or size that is happening. It could be small, it could be big, but that's the thing. But once the higher up says something has to be done, it has to be done, and people should be sensitive. Like just because you grow up the ladder and just because you have an authoritative thing, it doesn't mean that you lose your senses or you start talking about things which is not practical. So that's what it's been like running in my mind since last 2 3 days. So this whole thing of the decision changes that have been happening, the architectural changes that we have been asked to go through, and the vision change, and again the deadline remains same. The deadline never changes, the deadline remains same, but you have to redo everything and probably work from zero and come to the finishing line. I don't know. I don't think so. This will ever get resolved, be it here or anywhere. Sometimes you have to adjust. If it is really going beyond your nerves, then I think you have to stand up to it. But if your voice is not respected, then I think it's just better to say that this is not a right place to be. It's probably as simple as that. I think I would say it's like because as you grow up, it's when you know that what you might be doing is wrong, and people are not ready to listen, and it's just that you have to make way for yourself, and there's no point in staying there. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So this whole thing about organizational orders. Let's catch up tomorrow. We'll discuss something more positive and cheerful. Bye bye.